And with that, here we are, live and in person on the Twitch. We are here again. My name is Kevin, also known as Dirty 20 Gaming, and these fine, wonderful people are the people that are going to co create this game for us tonight. Let's go the opposite way that I normally do. Directly in the box below me, Austin playing Gihr for us. Next to him, over in the far corner, we have Amala, played by our very own Cara Sophia. And then off to the side of me here, we have Caradwin, played by Robin. And I am Kevin, and I will be playing Bill. With that, what are we playing? We are playing Ironsworn co-op mode, where we are all building the story together. There's no pre-made plot. There's no plan. We're just going with whatever happens comes out of our amazing minds and the oracle system inherent in the game. That game is Ironsworn, created by the very talented Sean Tompkin. Sean, you made an amazing game. I really like this game. Uh, and we are using Roll20. And the music tonight, speaking of which, we'll start it when we start. The music tonight is provided by Tabletop Audio, and we're using the Roll20 virtual tabletop to do our dice rolling. And speaking of that, the character sheet in Roll20 is built by one Ethan, who you can meet over on the Ironsworn Discord, which I strongly suggest you go and join. They're an incredible bunch of people. But they did this character sheet and put all the moves and all the oracles and everything as clickable tables on the sheet. I can't imagine how much work this took, but it has made our job so much easier and this game so much more convenient to play. So I wanted to get big props for that too. That's for Ethan. While we're on the topic of props, we kind of hit a mini milestone. Us did. Over on YouTube, link in the boring panel below. We have hit 100 views on our first episode of Ironsworn, so thank you to everybody that was part of that. Number 2 and number 3 are coming along very nicely, and if you'd like to go and catch up on those, they are over on the YouTube channel. Please watch us first and then go over afterwards and catch up. With that, we can get kind of quick here because so far, I'll do a quick summary and then I'm going to go around a circle and we'll see exactly what everybody saw from inside their characters. But last week, bonds have been forged, vows have been forsaken, although the forsaker of that vow thought he succeeded. And I think it's fair to say, a rough plan exists for what we plan to do as a party, a group. But let's go one at a time around and just a couple sentences from each of our characters' point of view. So let's start with, let's do it the same order we did the introductions. Gihr, from Gihr's point of view, what happened last week?
Oh, it's going to be hard to cut it down into a couple sentences. But if Gihr were telling this story to somebody, he would say something along the lines of, the small one I travel with. God, he's so loud. Between the chattering of his teeth and the clicking of his knees, everything in the forest can hear him. That, the naive one, the one with their eyes always on the sky. They were no use. At least I had the hunter to watch my back. When I came upon that shade, that thing in the forest, if it was just me, I don't think I would have made it out. I think that's about it.
Perfect. There's a reason I'm going to change the order slightly because I want somebody to go last because they're going to start tonight too. So let's hop kitty corner up to Caradwin. From her point of view, what happened?
We were on the trail of the taint and discovered some mushrooms that were odd and strange. And while I was trying to make sure that Bill and Amala were not lost in the forest, Gihr came across a beast that I can only describe as a horror of the woods, who was looking for the small piece of iron that we found there.
All right. And I'm going to go next as Bill.
Oh, Amala's last?
But yeah, for reasons. Stuff's going to happen. So,
Reasons.
Bill, well, that were summit. That were definitely summit. A whole day without stealing nothing. That's interesting. Apparently there was a bloody great fight, too. I missed it all. I were blind for an hour. Oh. From the description, now I think I'm glad I missed it. Frankly, I about shat myself with that wolf. I don't know if that dark creature of the forest. Oh, feet, we are in so far over our heads. And I'll leave it there. So, Amala, the reason we did this in this order, because you asked me before we started if we could backtrack a bit. So,
Just a tiny bit.
Absolutely, yes. Let's just hand it over to you. And hang on, just before we do, I'm gonna add
Just
some
mood
music. Yeah, we're still in a fairly nice place, so let's do a fairly nice music.
Yes, because we ended on a peaceful note.
Yeah.
A contemplative note.
Yeah. But before that,
I was going to try something. You know, we had the mushroom trail in front of us and we didn't know how big it was or how important it was or any of that. And so I'm used to reaching out and calling to the crows to summon them for the augury. And I reached out and I tried to do it with shadow instead in order to kind of see if I could encompass this area. And I opened a door that I don't think I was ready to open. And got a bit scared and a bit rattled and a bit the shadow world was not something covered in my training yet, was something I was completely unprepared for, and it had a scary effect on me too. I almost swore an iron vow to challenge my shaman master. I mean, that could be bad. So yeah. Oh, yeah, there was a monster and stuff like that. I mean,
some other stuff happened too. But yeah, this is exactly why I wanted to do this, because that's 4 completely different perspectives on the same day. So.
And we did at the end, you know, we made our camp and we calmed ourselves and just the normal routine of making camp and all, and of doing my light ritual and all helped to sort of soothe us down and soothe our spirits and sort of refocus us so that we could just look up at the stars. But something a little different is, as I was doing my evening light ritual, many crows came and roosted in the trees around us. And that's not quite usual. I mean, Amala always has crows around.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of them settled in the trees around us. And as we settled into bed and all, I went very deeply into sleep. And I don't know if we did the same watch order we had done before. Probably did.
Yeah.
In which case, Caradwin, when she tried to raise me for my watch, would have had a lot of difficulty waking me. You know those dreams that just
Shaky,
sort of
shaky.
suck you in, and when you start to wake up and out, but you're still consumed back into those dreams of, and dreams of the morphing crow clouds that we'd had.
Yeah.
Was it just the one night before? 2
One
nights
day.
before? It was
This
just the
I
one
think
week.
it
night
was, yeah.
before.
It's been
It was
2
today.
Oh, my
days since we
goodness.
met. 2 days since we met. Yeah.
And even some of the time the crows, the morphing crow shape was actually lunging at me, and I mean, this was just so heavy, it was hard to shake off.
I love it.
And yeah, and so then after my watch, I woke Bill, got Bill going again, and lay down and just fell back into the dreams. And we had talked about how we were going to start with the morning rituals and all that, and we can start with the morning. And Amala is hard to wake again.
Yep. Thank you. I like that very much. This story right now is very much about getting Amala back to Kinheim. So something very important. We know not what, because we're not there yet. But something's going to happen. Plus, we have to go get Caradwin's horse.
Yeah.
So,
So we can't bypass Kinheim.
no. Do we want
I mean,
to...
I could just go in there, but
Yeah, or I could go steal it. That's not an issue. But I'm stolen nothing in all, like almost 24 hours, getting itchy.
kind of twitchy.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, if you're wanted, you got to at least be doing stuff that makes you. Anyway.
You haven't stolen anything since the wooden spoon the morning before we left Kinheim.
And the carrots. Yep.
And that was a trade. That wasn't even a steal.
No,
Yeah.
the carrots
Well,
was, I think, the
carrots
only.
were earlier than that. The
Yeah,
carrots were when
that
you
was right at
first
the
came
beginning.
in,
That was my first scene. Here's Bill. He's a thief. Thank you for watching. But do we want to do the rolls for the evening watch again, or do we want to let tonight just pass?
Should we make things complicated?
I mean,
It
No, that
seems
was 2
to be
episodes
our
oh,
MO.
what a silly question. Look at that.
I'm opening up my character sheet.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're going to do the first watch, right?
So we did gather information,
okay,
right?
so we'll do that.
Shall we
Yeah.
do that?
So it's Gihr, Caradwin, Amala, and then
And this is
Yeah.
gather information.
Yes. That's what we did last time,
I
didn't we?
get a +1 to that.
Yes, and we now have moves to do it.
Yes.
Oh, what
It
a
is
shock!
a weak hit. Okay.
How do we complicate this? I'm just going to go with the story here. I'm going to say that during Gihr's watch, many times over the course of the night, and this man beast is very, very in tune with the creatures and the nature around him, especially because we're in the forest.
Yep.
And so most of the watch he spends with his eyes closed because he can't see very well in the dark, but he can hear and he can smell. So keeping his ears and his nose out for predators, anything that would be hunting us, they give no sign of anything in the vicinity. But every time he opens his eyes, there are darting shadows around the camp. Mostly higher up into the trees, fleeting things out of the corner of your eye that you kind of whip your head around to see, and it's already long gone. Something unnatural, something that doesn't leave a sound and doesn't have a smell. And he does not tell this to Caradwin when he wakes her up. Because he thinks he's losing his fucking mind.
Yep. +1 momentum for the weak hit. So, yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yep.
And so he will move over
Says the guy
and
with none.
reach down and put both of his hands on Caradwin's shoulders. Just give her a gentle, like a shake.
Mm-hmm.
And she doesn't rattle like a can of something.
I know, yeah. I'm assuming she did not go chicka when you shook her. Yeah.
Oh, I think something's
Psych,
wrong.
I'm an android.
Realize I'm just holding her quiver. Chicka.
You kept
And all
your
of a
eyes
sudden,
closed.
this becomes an interpretive dance of me waking Caradwin up with her quiver. Chicka. And so
Oh, the tension builds.
we need to have a little bit of lightness in here
Absolutely.
because things are gonna get complicated right now.
Yep. So, yeah.
yeah.
He wakes you up and does the word. You take care of your watch.
Seems pretty typical.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess I need to gather information.
If we do this every night, then we're never going to get. It's just going to get violently bad. Oh
It's
shit!
so much fun, though.
That is a full-blown miss.
No.
A dire threat or an unwelcome truth.
No pressure.
Either way, you're paying the
There's
price.
some good unwelcome truths running around. Yeah.
Yes, there are.
Yeah.
So we just not killed, but banished a forest shade.
If you would like a sort of hint, if you do
Oh, I
pay the
got
price now, it's kind of the price itself might be leading.
Yeah, I have a bit of idea, but that's a good idea.
Best ways to weave them together.
So a delay or puts you at a disadvantage.
Well, this still kind of works with my idea. As Caradwin is sitting there keeping watch, kind of staying by the fire, because none of us, we're all humans.
Yes.
Can't see in the
What's
dark.
this dark vision of which you almost spoke?
What? D&D brain. She's kind of mulling over what had happened and the bond forged with Amala, and she doesn't quite understand that completely, but is willing to undertake that because she's at heart someone who looks after people and likes to make sure people are okay. And as she's thinking things over, especially what happened with the shade, the anti-druid, she realizes that the way it burned and some of the patterns left on the grass after it was gone, and the claw marks that it left, it all looks more familiar than what her attack was, because hers was a completely different beast. It looks a lot like what left the cart that was Kadal's in Shatters. It looked like the wounds that his apprentice had.
Ouch.
Or at least very similar, very, very similar. And it is kind of helpful because she was always kind of wondering if his disappearance was connected with these things that she had a run-in with, but this is kind of a wait, those looked familiar. They didn't look familiar just because of before, it looked familiar for a reason. And so she kind of mulls that over, and that's kind of the realization she comes to, is that it's more than just he was attacked by another circle.
So would you say that would be enough to cause you to endure stress on top of paying that price? Or is that enough?
I would say that would probably endure stress, yeah.
Okay, so give us an endure stress roll. Because I was thinking, either like that stunning knowledge that, oh shit, that might sort of put a break on you a little bit. So yeah, give us a...
I roll...
endure
plus
stress.
Spirit or plus heart?
Plus spirit or heart, yeah, whichever is higher.
So it would be spirit, because I've got full spirit right now. It's not going to last, but
Yep.
Ooh, never
A
mind.
strong hit. There you go. So you can shake it off. Either suffer one momentum in exchange to get that spirit back, or you can embrace the darkness and take one momentum.
She will embrace the darkness because
Damn.
it's less of take a dark exterior. It's a motivator
Okay,
for
yeah.
finding him. She's
Yeah, I like
embracing
that.
it as instead of momentum. It motivates her that, okay,
Sure.
I need to find him. This is more dangerous than I originally thought.
Yeah, it could have been a blow, but instead you took it as a... I like that. I like that very much. Oh,
Do I
the
still lose
system
the
is
one
good.
spirit or no?
You embrace the darkness, so yeah, you still lose one spirit, I believe, because it doesn't say you
But
get
you
it
get
back,
a
but you get
momentum.
one momentum in the process.
Yep.
So
Yep. And I
So
can
my-
get spirit back easily. So.
Yeah.
Okay, and so that is my watch. Just lots of dark, heavy thoughts right there.
yeah.
And so then, after mulling that over and maybe staying up a little bit later than was the previous night, she'll go and try to wake up Amala.
Yep.
And as Amala said, it's as Karis said, it's harder to get her awake. I kind of have to like, Amala.
Go up to the water skin and
No, I'm not here. Just
I am.
shaking her. You're not awake. Shush. Kind of shaking her a little bit harder and kind of, speaking a little louder as it goes. Amala, wake up. And a little bit harder of a shake. Amala.
What?
Amala.
I'm awake.
Are you sure? Amala, are you all right?
What? Yeah. Just sleepy. What?
Wolf.
Wolf?
Nope, just an asshole.
He's asleep, so I didn't do that.
Yeah. It's your
I'm
watch.
awake. Oh, is it my watch?
Yeah, are you all right?
Yeah. Just dreams, just dreams. I'll shake them off.
Are you sure? Do you need to go back to sleep?
No, I'm awake. I'm awake. I'll get myself something to drink. Yeah, you go get your rest. I'm fine. I'll be fine.
Okay. And then Karen.
And a quick shout out to the Mercs for hosting us. Thank you, Mercs of Mischief. Thank you. It's wonderful. Very nice of you. And Amala crawls out from the sleep of the crows and the ravens. Crows, I keep forgetting. Ravens is the other game. The sleep of the crows and
It's colloquially yeah.
Yeah.
Ravens are a subset of crows.
Yeah.
The family
Carrions.
crows.
right. So gathering information for your watch.
Yes. And I'm kind of expecting a miss, but
That would indeed fit the narrative.
The dice are the dice doeth.
Yeah, the dice doeth as the dice will.
The dice giveth, and the
Well, there
dice
you go.
taketh away.
You asked.
Hey.
So, a dire threat or an unwelcome truth? And again, if you want to get the hint.
Well,
Truth
okay,
is-
but this actually kind of works with
Yes.
your ideas with what
Yeah.
was going on with the shadow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I based that off of what she told us was happening recently.
So, yeah, tell us what happens on your watch.
Well, so in this miss, the unwelcome truth, the immediate unwelcome truth here is that I'm more caught up in my dreams and I'm not paying attention to what's around us.
Row.
Okay. Yeah. I like that. So, pay the price.
Yeah, let's see here. Which was where?
Right at the bottom
is.
left-hand side,
Fate
under Fate Moves.
moves.
Yeah. A new danger or
Oh.
foe is revealed. Which makes perfect sense. You nod back off.
Okay, what
Crows.
attacks
Hey.
us?
Crows. Ravens
We
are a
have a
subset of
pattern.
crows. Huh? What do we see?
And the morphing cloud of crows in my dream is an actual crow in my face trying to wake me up.
Oh, okay,
because
yeah.
Guess what's coming at us? Probably not as dangerous as a wolf that we had before, but there's something snuffling around out there and that could be a harm.
Sure. So something sort of
On the
snuffling
one
in one of
hand,
the
that's
bags,
good
maybe, or
news
something? Yeah.
No, on one hand, that's good news, and that the forest is starting to come back to life. On the other hand, I'm scrambling. It's like, okay, what am I supposed to do? Watch, something's happening. I should wake somebody. No, I should. Let's see. I should. What is it? It is. Okay, something over by the bags. What is it? And I'm wide awake now.
Yep.
All right, so Oh, something to your. Oh, it's a raccoon. Okay, good. Ah, raccoons into our things. Wait. Shoot. Ugh. Okay, well, took care of that. Okay, so let me see here. Pay the price. So do I take a dress or a?
We didn't pay the price. I was thinking this seems more like because it's a raccoon. I don't think my thought is we don't need to roll. We just lose one supply. It got some stuff while you were asleep, right?
I like it. We lose a supply, which brings us down to 3.
Because it might not be gone, but it's got raccoon poop on it, so we got to throw some of it out.
So we're at 3 now, right?
Raccoon drool.
Yeah, and fingerprints and all that.
There are little tiny bite marks.
Yeah, little raccoony bits.
The dried meats that we have. And
Yeah. Yeah, so, we're down to 3 supply. Yes, that's what I have as well.
Right, okay. Oh.
We're at 3?
Who comes after me?
Me.
Let's see. Cara woke me up. Let's see.
So
it's not her.
We're still in Carrie.
Last night I woke up Bill. Bill! I wake up Bill. Right, Bill.
I love this character.
And I go over and
I love her so much.
She goes over and she's, unlike the light game that she played last night, she just goes over to and shoves at Bill.
Yeah. And as soon as he moves, feet comes running out from under his shoulder and kind of look. I mean, you can't really see eyes on a cockroach, but he's kind of like.
You can take it. It's your watch, feet.
Yep, and he starts tickling Bill's face and wakes him up. Yeah. Right. Nothing untoward. I'm assuming no one woke me up, so. And I let you go to sleep, and let's do wits. And I get, because I have feet helping me, I get 1. So a weak hit. This is a weak hit kind of night.
There we go.
Okay, yeah, I get this. This makes perfect sense. Let me just mark my momentum before I forget. There we go. So as Amala goes back to sleep, and I mean, I'm assuming it's just like, and she's gone, like you're willingly going back into this dream world of shadows. Bill is fascinated by the powers that she has. So he's not looking around, he's watching you. And he can hear the crows in the trees moving around above him, but as far as he's concerned, it's just crows. But I keep telling everybody else to use the oracles. I'm going to use the damn oracle and give myself a... No, oracle's not this. No, let's just go back to this. Go to what you know. What he sees is he's looking... Every time he looks at Amala, he kind of gets this... It's almost like a vision, which is really strange because he doesn't... This is not his thing. But he sees this crow, or this group of crows. Maybe it's that cloud of crows she was talking about before. There is this crow shape that keeps flying back towards Kinheim. Back towards Kinheim. Over and over and over again. Seems like they leave Amala and fly back to Kinheim. And he realizes he's kind of falling asleep, and he shakes himself out a bit, sends feet for a look around, and nothing else happens over the course of the night. And then in the morning he wakes everybody up. And it takes a while to get Amala going again, yeah.
Shake her a little harder and keep Gihr from pouring water on her.
Oh, Gihr gets up and he moves over to grab some stuff to, I don't know, get some food for the trip. As he's going through the bag, he starts picking things up. Raccoons.
Caradrin. What are you talking about?
And he just throws something at her feet that's got like 8 little raccoon bite marks and little like handsy claw marks on it.
It must have happened after. I watch and I'll look over and see that Bill's still trying to wake them all up.
Yeah.
And she'll
And
go
a couple
over.
of crows come and start. Yeah,
Yeah, as soon as they come down on land, Bill backs off. It's like,
Yeah,
no,
there's
this is
still
magic.
a lot
Not
of
doing
crows.
this. Yeah.
Yeah, there's still a lot of crows around it, but only 2 come up to try and wake her.
Yeah.
Amala, are you
I'm awake.
all right?
It's just, those just really intense dreams that almost seem more real than reality. And it's just that I'm fine.
Was there anything you saw on your watch last night?
Oh yeah, there's animals in the woods again. There was a raccoon. Sorry, I can't do it with a straight face. There was a raccoon. Yeah, in our stuff, I chased it off. Oh, but it's good. There was an animal in the woods. That's good, right?
I guess I guess you just it didn't go after you at all, right?
Well, I mean, it was a raccoon. What was it gonna do? Oh yeah, I chased it off. I chased it off, and then I woke up feet to get Bill up for his watch.
Oh, all right. Well, that answers the question of the raccoon, I guess.
Well, I got one other question, Shaman Amala, if I may. These dreams you talk about, sometimes are they so powerful they kind of leak out and other people see them?
I don't think so.
It's only I was awake and I had almost like a dream last night. I kept seeing crows going from you back to Kinheim. Over and over again.
Oh, it's morning. Crows. Right. Let me see. Breakfast. Crows. Right. In my bed. Right.
And avoids answering my question and starts making breakfast. Yeah.
She gets that. Go ahead.
While she's at and I don't know if she's going to her talking with the crows ritual like she does every morning. Caradwin will go out and try to resupply a little bit.
Oh, I'll go with you.
Oh, yep.
I was gonna say that you see Gihr gearing up, but
oh yeah.
I was forming the sentence in my head, and then
yeah.
It was you, Austin, this time instead of Kevin.
Yes, and
so
Gihr pun.
We need to do the hunting first. Do you want to do the hunting
Dear
first?
Sean, we need to add a new combat move or a new suffer
penalty.
move called Endure Pun.
Endure Pun.
Penalty.
Oh. Okay. Ouch.
Yes.
That's just what if we go out, I am. This is kind of a two-purpose mission here. This is one to resupply, and then one to assess if the animals have truly returned to this forest and if it's kind of coming back to normal. I've been marking little bits on my vow so far, so I would like to attempt that maneuver that we tried last time we went hunting together, where I chase it out and you catch it.
Have Sab ready to.
Are you going to tell her you're doing this or no?
Oh no, of course not.
No.
Why would I tell her that I was helping her in any way? That's not what I.
Yeah, because before
that's not Gihr at all.
She would try to secure an advantage by aiming for it. So, yeah, that would work. She'd find. She'd be walking
and
around.
And then Gihr, you wanted to do the secure advantage, but apply that advantage to her, right? So yeah, yes. You guys both do a secure advantage.
Let's see here. I have.
Look at my acid.
So I'm gonna refill my cup quick. Be right back.
Yep. I'm still trying to figure out why you're allergic to aid and ally, but Holy
Oh,
shit.
because the aid and ally is the same thing, right? You
Yeah.
secure an advantage through the aid and ally.
Yeah.
But he would never ever tell her that.
This is true. Okay, now I get it. Now I
It's
understand.
because of our
The the
Yeah.
the
Oh,
alpha dominance game.
yeah.
Both of you
Nice.
strong hits. Holy crap. Okay.
We're starting to
We
get
are
this synergy thing
so
down here.
advantageous.
So you can make another move now and add +1 or take +2 momentum. You both succeeded, so you could take, I guess technically you could take a move each. I don't think you can give her a move.
Normally I would give her the momentum, but since we're securing advantage together and kind of working out this hunting thing
Yeah.
as we move, kind of the, oh man, this is awful comparison, but almost like a hunter and his dog.
Yeah,
Right?
as long as you're aware that
That
you're the
means-
dog in
Don't
this
shoot the
situation.
dog.
Here is the
Yeah,
dog.
don't
Yeah.
shoot the dog.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Again. Don't shoot the dog again.
Don't
So,
run in front of my arrow again.
Yeah, you both had strong hits. So
Okay.
tell us I guess yeah, we know Caradwin, you're like you said, you're bracing and preparing.
Yeah, that's what my securing advantage was finding the target and then taking aim.
Perfect. And then
I'll
Gihr
have
is going
you roll resupply then.
Yeah.
And we'll see how that works.
Yes, and I can add.
But how is it that you aid her? So as she's drawing down on this animal that you guys found.
So Gihr is not like a traditional predator that chases these animals. He can climb and he can drop on them.
Right.
And he's a human, even though he runs on all fours like a lunatic. So he is using a combination of stealth. He's kind of creeping along through the bushes, and he's an expert tracker. So he's more using his wits than anything. He's looking for rabbit holes and burrows and anything that's not abandoned anymore.
Right.
And so when he's using that to kind of find it, and in plain view of Caradwin, he's gonna flush it out, and she's gonna take it down.
Okay.
So he's the tracker, she's the hunter.
So would you suggest 2 momentum each, or would you want to give all 4 momentum to her? Or give your 2. Don't speak for hers. She'll get hers. But yeah, what are you doing with your 2 momentum?
I will give it to Caradwin.
Okay.
Big momentum.
Let's see.
So that's actually +4 momentum you have. Or
Well,
you could take the.
I'm taking the extra move to add +1.
Right. So take your shot with +1 and
so I
your
roll
assets
wit.
and
Wits and then 1.
and you have assets that make you a better hunter as well, right?
Well, it said the to use wits unless you can only use edge with one of the assets, cave lion. So.
Oh, if
I
you
thought
have a
maybe-
cave line, okay.
Yeah. So I use wits, but I will burn that momentum, baby.
Danger.
So yeah, right at the top of the momentum
Wit.
column it just says burn, and it should automatically reset it to
Yep.
2.
Yeah. And then I will use that advantage that gave us 2 momentum
Yep.
and burn it to get 2 supply.
That makes sense. Yep.
So now I'm
Absolutely.
back to even.
So we're
Anyway,
back up to 5 supply. Excellent. Thank you.
And while we're out here, I'm also not just looking for burrows that are abandoned, but also assessing the status of the wildlife in the area. So I'm going to try to gather information too.
Yeah.
And I would say what got her to almost miss was she was trying to focus, and she's still kind of thinking, had some bad dreams about what she realized over the night, and so her brain kind of like wandered a little bit, and it was like, oh shit, and
Yeah.
recorrected, but it was kind of sloppy.
Yep. So that was that was gather information. So weak hit.
This is for my vow though. So
Oh,
this is
okay,
gonna
right.
be, complicates or introduces a new danger. Envision what you take, or envision what happens and take 1 momentum. So as Gihr begins to before they actually make the kill and gather their supplies, he stumbles upon a little burrow, and in it, he kind of drops down low to the ground and drops his face and nose into this little burrow. And in it are a bunch of fox kits. They're just almost like brand new babies, but they're all emaciated, and it looks like whatever natural cycle is happening has been interrupted at this generation gap. So maybe the mother was out hunting and fell to this shade or its taint, and so there's a hiccup in this this flood of nature back into this area that is going to be difficult to overcome.
It's coming back, but not without
its own problem.
without a price. Yeah, I like that.
Unfortunately, this is the way of nature, and
Yep.
he cannot intervene, so
Nope.
he's gonna leave them to die.
Yep. And while you
Or we
guys
could
are out
adopt
hunting,
all of them.
yeah. I'm just trying to. Part of me's thinking, our fox is good eating. Well, not when they're that small, but
Oh yeah, little baby
Like-
foxes.
crunchy
No,
like popcorn.
Other things.
Meanwhile,
So-
back at the
You just-
camp.
They're like peeps. You throw them in the microwave, and they blow up.
Yeah.
They expand. Oh, this is awful. Don't record this.
Now everyone's going to hear how sadistic you are.
Okay.
I'm gonna get all the downvotes. Who would
All
leave a
caps.
bunch of
You
fox kids
bastard. Yeah.
in the burrow to die? I don't have a Twitter you could blow me up on. Sorry, guys.
Yeah. What's the phrase? Don't at me. Yeah.
Yeah, don't at me.
But meanwhile, back at camp, while these two mighty hunters are off mighty hunting, I believe there's a morning ritual to happen. Is there not?
There is.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the third time now you've seen her do this.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, she's talked about, she's talked about crows gossiping and crows laughing at her and crows, the things that crows do. And of course, all you guys have seen are crows,
Mhm.
crows just being crows and fluttering a bit and cawing a bit and all that. Well, so this time she sits down on the ground and all the crows come down out of the trees. And it's very clear what she's been meaning all along about the gossiping and stuff, because they're not doing it this time. You're used to them being crows.
Yeah.
And they're all sitting around her. And it's like, okay, we're going to have a talk. They are doing, they're sitting her down. We're going to have a talk. This isn't the normal morning thing. And you can kind of hear part of her side of the conversation. She says something about shadows, and it's all. But Weena and she gets interrupted by a crow, and she stops and looks sort of the sort of sullen, resentful stuff, and another crow says something else like, "Okay, fair." So she's having a real. Are having a real conversation with her. And so let's see here. So this is the augury.
Yes.
Roll plus wits.
Okay.
A weak hit. And what does that do for your augury? What does a
That
weak hit give
is
you?
The crows, ignore my question and offer a clue to an unrelated problem or opportunity in this area. Yeah, that's what they're doing.
Yeah, that is exactly
but I
what they're
do get a
doing to you.
momentum.
Yeah.
That's exactly what they're doing.
Yep.
I do get one momentum.
Yep. You get some momentum for that. Absolutely.
And,
So yeah.
And she says, but she didn't. And a crow interrupts.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that and a crow interrupts.
Yeah.
And she just sits there, and one of the crows talks. It's like, okay. Okay. And
Ah.
you can just tell the one it's kind of a little bit larger than some of the others, and it kind of comes up and gives a it's just so clear. There. Just the punctuation on the end.
You've been told off. Yeah.
It's like, okay, but do you want your breakfast? And then they go back to just being crows.
They're like, of course.
Yeah.
It's like, and now they're doing the gossiping, and now that you notice the difference, you can see they turn and they talk to each other, and they talk to her, and the way that they flutter around, you can see that her earlier descriptions about their behavior were actually pretty spot on if you knew what you were looking at with crows.
Sure.
And she feeds them their breakfast, and then comes over and to have her breakfast.
But watching that, Bill is very, very good at not being seen and not being there, and he just kind of fades into the nothingness. No modifier, but that's a strong hit even with only a 5. Yeah, he just sort of leans back against a tree at the edge of the clearing and just watches this whole thing. Historically, this isn't accurate, but in my head, it's like watching a whole bunch of nuns picking on one student in a convent school. Like there's one recalcitrant student that's been taken into back room, and there's now 20 nuns giving her shit. And that's what he's seeing.
A problem like Amala,
yeah. And the title is done. A problem like Amala. Thank you. There it is. I love it. Thank you. And he just he was already in awe of Amala and what she could do. Like he's in awe of your teacher too, but she's like on a whole different level. Right? That kind of power is just something he can't understand. But he just watched you get yelled at by animals, and that's somehow with feet in his relationship. That's more like he can get his head partway around that a little bit. So once they start
yelled at by animals, and she understood.
Yes, and took it and took this abuse, this telling off. Like you said, the way you explained it was really clear. You were getting told off, right? So yeah, he waits until you're feeding them and they're running around again and just being crows again. And comes over and he says, Shaman Amala, you
Yes, Bill. How's the porridge this morning?
It's excellent, thank you. Both bowls so far. Both bowls very good, yes. There's something I wanted to ask you about these birds, if I might.
Yeah, the crows, sure.
Yeah, they don't act the same this morning. I've seen a couple days now, and they come in here and they're laughing and giggling and being old crows and such. But I know a bit about getting told off, miss. And you, if you don't mind me saying so, just got told off.
I guess I did.
Does that happen a lot?
I deserved it, though.
Did you?
After what I did yesterday? Yeah.
All I saw was someone helping people.
Well, but I was messing around with Shadow, and I didn't know what I was doing, and yeah, I deserved to be grounded a bit, yeah.
All right, I don't want to judge.
I mean, I'm still dreading going back and talking to Weena, but it's not like not like I feared last night.
I think your version of shadows and my version of shadows is pretty different things, but shadows has always been my friend. They keep me hidden. They keep me out of trouble.
Yeah, I can kind of see that. I can see how that would be. Shadows are pretty strong. I mean, that thing we fought yesterday was a shadow creature.
Were it? I don't see it. I didn't see it at all. My eyes are still burning.
You see it? What happened
my
to
my
your
eyes were all
eyes?
full of funguses and such. I was blind for most of an hour.
Oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention. I should have noticed.
No, it's all right,
Do you
miss.
need,
It
do you
meant
need
I
the
missed.
salve?
It meant I didn't have to look at whatever it was what Gihr fought.
She was pretty scary.
See?
I don't know if I dreamed about her last night or I don't know. Well, I don't really remember now. Man, did I have dreams?
Well, I don't envy you those, miss. Dreams aren't very good most of the time.
Well, it's not like it was bad. I mean, it wasn't a nightmare or anything, but is it, those really intense dreams that just sort of suck you in and it yeah, well.
Like the ones where you're being hunted, miss. But
Well,
there's,
those
the
sometimes
ones where
can
there's no
be,
place to hide.
Yeah, those sometimes can be. But kind of the ones where it sort of swells up and fills the whole world and where it's more vivid and more real than the normal day-to-day is,
Well, I don't know about dreams like that, miss, but that's probably an excellent description of how I felt in that cupboard. When I
Which
made
cupboard?
that promise to the universe.
Oh, well,
It's more real than real, isn't it, miss?
it can be. It can be.
Well, just thinking about it give me goosebumps.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, miss, I don't envy you the rest of today.
Yeah, but...
Because if I'm not mistaken, you're going home to tell your teacher you don't want teaching no more.
No. Yeah, I was going to. Yeah, but no. Yeah.
Oh, the birds
I've
give
been
you a different
straightened.
idea, did they?
Yeah, well, yeah, they kind of straightened me out on that front a bit. Yeah. I'm going to
Edwin
go
will be
and
your
I'm
champion.
I'm going to go and I'm going to listen because I mean I'm pretty sure Weena is fully aware and she's gonna call me to account. But I'm going to go, I'm going to listen to what she says or asks of me, and I'm going to answer the questions she actually asks, and I'm not going to assume about what I should tell her.
Fair enough, miss. Just,
At least I hope I'm not.
Just I'd put a word in for you if I could. We'd have been in pretty deep shit last night, miss, pardon the language. But we'd have been in pretty deep shit last night if it weren't for you, and your healing, and your light.
Well, or did I get us into the trouble? I don't know. I mean, because you heard what Gihr said. He said that iron called to. I forgot exactly what he said, but it drew that little iron piece he has. It drew things, and it's.
He also said that iron tainted nature, miss. And I don't like the sound of that very much.
Can you believe something that small would do all those mushrooms and all of the wolves and all the. I wonder.
What worries me, miss.
I mean, that's.
What worries me, miss, is our Gihr. Last time I saw him, he didn't see me. I told you I'm good in shadows.
Mm-hmm.
But last time I saw him, he were talking about iron towers the size of houses, miss.
Kind of scary, isn't it?
If one this big brings out whatever it was as evil and as dark as what he saw here, can you imagine? I don't even want it. Don't bear thinking of, miss.
It doesn't. I can't imagine what we're going to find.
And miss, if we're going to find that, I'd much rather have you with me than not.
It would be daft to go after such a thing without a shaman along. you know, if you're gonna mess with spirits and things, to do, I mean, it's kind of daft to do it with an apprentice shaman like me. I mean, but I really can't see Weena going.
So maybe you leave that last little sentence out of the argument with Weena, miss. But other than that, I think you're kind of prepared.
Yeah. She did agree for me to come along this trip. So
If I may be so bold,
that
miss,
she's gonna. You always are, Bill.
perhaps it's time. I don't know much about shamans, but perhaps it's time you stepped out on your own and tested your own abilities without the safety net.
Yeah, that's kind of what got me into trouble last night, though. Yeah.
Well, I trusts you, miss. And I don't trust much of anyone.
Well, maybe Weena will trust me too.
Bond roll, bond roll, bond roll.
You're not far off, are you? Really, you're not, are you? That really is, yeah. It wasn't supposed to be, but it kind of turned into one, didn't it?
That happened.
You know, it's so funny because, you know, all of them are so obvious when they happen, and yet none of us would have ever
when you're
planned
in
them.
it, right?
It's someone else. When you're in it, it doesn't do anything, but then someone else points it out. It's like, okay, what are we doing? Okay, let's see. Moves.
Ooh, this is interesting.
George
I don't often talk about the mechanics of a game. I like to kind of leave them in the dark, but thanks to Ethan, I have a choice to make. When I forge this bond, I can either use heart or I can use shadow if I lie this bond. It's called Shadow Trickster, which would give me a much higher roll because my shadow is much higher than my heart. But it ain't happening.
All right.
And it's only a weak hit. Okay.
Do any of us have good heart?
I have 2 heart. That's where my 3 went.
We both. This is the dice. The dice. I
Right
love
into
dice when this
my
works.
haunches.
We both got weak hits. So, they ask something more of you first. Envision what it is, or we swear a vow. This is more.
This isn't an iron vow. This is more an agreement.
Yeah.
Kind of like what Caradwin and Amala.
Yeah,
so
maybe
Bill,
a promise is made, not a vow, just a promise.
Yeah, Bill just reaches out his hand.
Caradwin, we actually did the anchoring, the
tether. Yeah, it wasn't quite a vow, but it was a stronger bond. I would imagine this is a little bit weaker, but
in this case, Bill just reaches out with his hand, sort of in that, like, not the handshake, but the sort of grasping hands thing, to take your hand. And if you take it, he says,
arm wrestle. No, I'm kidding.
I'll tell you what, miss. You keep me out of the darkest parts of the shadows, and I'll keep you in the Bitswater safe.
That would be very helpful. Yeah.
And is that a 2? That's a 2, isn't it? I think that's a pretty serious promise.
That's pretty good. I like that.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I love this game. Damn, I love this game. I mean, role playing in general, but the way that the mechanics of this game make it
And Bill has some of the most bonds with everybody.
Yeah, which is weird considering who he is, right? Who is this guy,
the
right?
shyster.
Yeah.
The most misfit.
Yeah.
Oh.
Wow, very cool. Okay, so with that, I think were you done with that scene, Karis?
Yes.
Okay, and we will then these two come rolling back in with what, a rabbit?
Yeah, a
As-
rabbit
yeah.
or two maybe.
The porridge
As
is
we're
already the
walking
porridge is
back-
We
mostly
should
gone.
split
To be
two.
honest, by the time you get back, the porridge is mostly gone. There's kind of like 3/4 of a bowl each left. Bill's been
How
skimming.
much supply do we need to reduce? It's a good thing they're bringing more back.
As we're kind of walking back to where camp is, Gihr is gonna glance over at the scars on Caradwin's face and see if he can identify from the amount of claws and the size what kind of creature, or if it's even a creature that's familiar to him that left those marks.
Well, that would appear to be a gather information, I would suggest, right?
Probably.
I would think so.
Or
I
how
guess
else
I
would
would
you?
say.
That would be observation. I'm really tempted to go with the shady aspect, the kind of side-eyeing.
Oh, he
He
doesn't want her
could
to
just
know.
ask her, but
Yeah.
no.
Well,
Oh,
she
no.
doesn't know what it was, though.
There's
You know-
way too much pride on this boy. This man
Yeah,
suffers from
You know, believe
it's
it or
hard
not.
he can sit. He's got his pride so far up his
Yeah. So I said it, so I'm gonna do it, even though my shadow is worse than my wits. I'm
Sure.
gonna do it anyways.
Yep. Kind of side eye. Oh, wow.
Hey!
So,
Buddy.
I think this is
you
weird
said-
because this is what you have to say
because
if I would know this or not.
well, that's a. I guess I have a question first. Is for Caradwin, do you know what did this to you?
No, she has no idea. All
Okay.
she knows is that it's something unlike anything she's ever seen.
Right.
And she grew up on a mountain top that had wyverns growing up in the coldest parts of it. So,
Right. So it's definitely all the way into horrors somewhere. It's not a creature. It's definitely a
that's
horror.
what she considers it, yes.
Okay.
It's a
So-
horror. So, rolling with this, what do I get for? You discover something helpful and specific, so we'll modify that a little bit. Gihr will learn that this set of claws, this scar, is not from any natural array of claws. Nothing that he would see in the trees or in the sea. This is definitely something unnatural that did this, which would kind of tie into why Caradwin knows a little bit about the pillars and the strange things that are going on in the Shadow
Yeah,
Wastes.
she didn't know anything about the pillars really, but she suspected that the thing they fought in the woods was related in somehow to the thing that attacked her. And there's 4 claw marks, by the way. So
So
that's the number.
Caradwin, it's your backstory. Do you want him to know what it is? Because there's, I'm just looking at the horrors list, the list of horrors that comes with the game, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them. Do we just want to roll a d7?
Sure.
Or do you have an idea?
I have
Where is
no
this?
idea. I didn't know there was a list of horrors. So
It's in our journal. It's not on the character sheet. It's actually
It's
in our
under
journals as part of the stuff that I put in before
It's under
Athan.
handouts,
Yeah.
NPCs. and
Yeah,
then
before
others.
Athan
I
completely trumped
see.
me by putting everything on the sheet, I had put it all in here. So, so
I
yeah, there's
see, I
Bonewalker,
see.
Chimera, Frostbound, Haunt, Hollow, Iron Revenant, and Sodden. So do you want to just
Well,
roll a
let's start
d7?
looking
And
at Iron Revenant. Based
Or-
on where
or you
else
could
the
just pick
plot's
one.
going, we can start looking
Yeah,
at that
I
and see
mean-
if that does it.
I would say rolling would a d7 is good.
okay, so yeah.
Ooh, we're
Well,
building a backstory. Is that
Gihr,
what
you
we're
know,
doing?
you rolled it, so you
got
rolled a
strong
d7.
hit, so
Give us a d7 in chat, and we'll see what we get.
I get a roll
Roll
for
a
what
6.
attacked Caradwin. This feels strange.
I know
Roll
this
a
is
6.
such a bizarre way to play this game. What's gonna happen? I don't know. Let's roll some dice and see.
Roll the 6!
A 6, there it is, like it's supposed to be.
It's an
man,
Iron
what-
Revenant.
There it is. One
An
Iron Revenant.
Revenant.
So,
So I rolled to say what it is. Now, Caradwin, if you feel comfortable describing it, or actually, should we save this for later?
no shit. Did you read this? No, this is. Oh. Some vows are held so fiercely that they survive even after death. An Iron Revenant is an incorporeal force of furious resolve, the unfinished vow of an Ironsworn given horrible form as a construct of metal for Gihr.
Yeah.
See?
Oh
See?
no! Oh no! The man
Here's-
of metal.
Here's the other thing you know about them. Attacks may
Oh,
slow
shit.
them down or temporarily break apart their armored form, but they have no flesh to pierce and cannot be killed. An Iron Revenant
Oh,
won't stop
no.
until their vow is fulfilled.
And that would be why Gihr knew what it was and Caradwin didn't.
Because he's seen the Man of Metal.
Yes.
Oh,
And it looks like
no.
the guy's gauntlet or whatever he had.
There's no way. The dice are just too good to us.
Yep.
So
It's force of will, you know. I
Okay,
will
this
it
was-
to
this
happen,
was,
and I'm all about will.
so this was just originally going to be kind of a side-eye glance to see what it was.
But
Now
then
we
it does a
have,
double
now we
take.
have to work through this. Now
Yeah,
we
but-
have
Karen, you're walking along and you realize he just stopped. Like he's just stopped walking, and when you're trying to look, he's staring at you.
And
That's fair.
before-
Yeah, I don't want to put any
by
words
the
in, but
time by the time you realize he stopped and kind of stop yourself, he's like moving towards you like a train.
And
And
she's
grabs your shoulder and spins you around to face him. Like all of a sudden the gears were turning and they've all interlocked. And he's just got this look of shock on his face. And he's just staring at the scars on your face.
Gihr? What's wrong?
And he kind of lets go over for a second. What gave you those marks? Tell me.
I told you last night it was whatever attacked me in the Shattered Wastes.
No creature could do something like that.
It's not a creature, nobody believes me, but it's some kind of horrifying thing.
And he sits back.
We talked about this last night, remember?
That would explain why I've seen these marks before.
What
And
do you
he-
mean?
Pulls up the pelts on his side, and there's just a rake of claws across his chest. There are many, many, many scars, but there's one that's far more pronounced than all the others. And it's just these 4 claws that are not as, I guess they're really jagged, kind of shredding claws. 4 that go from right about his scapula all the way down the front of his stomach, almost like trying to gut him. And he says, I was given these the day I left my forest. The man of metal. You've seen him. Where is he?
I told you. I was attacked in the Shattered Wastes north of the Veiled Mountains. I barely got out alive.
No man has tools like that.
I don't think it was a man.
Save one. This man came. He had spears and arrows with chains.
And while he's talking, Caradwin actually does a similar motion
Mhm.
to Gihr because our backstories are scarily similar. And she pulls up her kind of tunics and coats, and there is a similar set of scars that, like, there's the face scars, and then there's a similar ones from, like, clearly, like, the opposite
the other hand.
hand, and it's down, like, the side, down past her hip of these jagged scars on her left side.
Quick interjection. The two of you just added a extreme foe to your backstories. Just so you know.
Yeah,
Inflicts 4 harm on 1 strike kind of foe. Just so you know.
Like
that's
I said,
the
she didn't-
baseline unaltered version until we get there.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Make it complicated.
Yep.
Yeah, like she almost didn't escape alive. Like
Mhm.
that's like part of her backstory. But yeah, so she is like almost the same exact type of gutting scars
Yeah,
on her left
Gihr,
side.
Gihr only has 1 set of scars because that's all it took to take him down. Right?
Yep. Oh,
And,
so on top of everything else, you just found out she's tougher than you again.
Or he attacked me with two hands at once.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
It's possible that went.
Gihr will continue. I've seen this man. He's collecting things. He took my forest spirit from me. The one my people hold dear. The one that keeps balance in the trees. And when I tried to stop him, he had fingers made of knives. He almost turned me inside out, left me there to die.
So this is, just to be clear, this is the person from your backstory, right? This is your original vow
now.
coming back.
It is now.
Yep.
Or it it may not be the same guy, but at the very least.
At the very least, it's going to send you in the same direction. Yeah. Okay.
This is too good to be true, though, because how rare is iron in our world?
Yes. And this
Nobody
creature
has
is
iron.
And this,
creature is clad or made of it.
It's a Patrick shell of armor and other hunks of metal. They wield iron weapons, which is like unheard of in this world. You know, you're lucky if you've got enough iron to make an arrowhead. This thing's got a long sword, right?
Yeah, that thing, that little tiny, centimeter of iron that we found, that's more than probably any of us have ever seen combined, like all of us.
And it's one of the tactics listed in the description is that they pull in iron with an unyielding magnetic force. So, yeah, we're gonna have some fun with this. But if we want to survive, we should probably avoid this thing for a couple episodes. But I would suggest that probably moves.
We have to go south and get Cadell first. Save
Yeah.
Cadell first.
But I would suggest that that conversation.
Burly adventurers, and we can go off.
Yep. But I would suggest that the two of you would certainly move at least one notch towards each of your vows as well on that, because you just discovered some pretty amazing information about it, right?
One little slash.
Well, I don't have a vow as far as that specific thing.
But I would say probably it would help towards the finding your brother one, because now you know what attacked you, what attacked you, attacked him. You know it's survivable, and now you've got a description. That's got to help, right?
Yeah, it was either something like the Iron
Revenant,
Revenant,
yeah,
or something like the Shade.
Yeah, but either way, I would say either way, you have gained a point. I'm just giving everybody points towards all their vows, and I get none because I'm not doing it. Sitting in it. I just keep making bonds. That's gonna be Bill's thing. He finishes the game with no vows and 47 bonds.
Most fun part, anyway.
The nicest thief ever. Part of my challenge for Bill was to build the thief that I didn't hate, because I don't generally play rogue type characters because I don't like them because they're slimy. So I had to make a slimy character that I like.
So on our way back from hunting, Gihr will tell her the story of the abduction of the forest spirit, the white mane. And so I don't have
to. And you touched on it a little bit the night before, but she'll get the more in-depth one. And
so it boils down to, I'll try to give you the Spark Notes version. Gihr's in charge of protecting this thing, this white mane. And the mantle comes from, it's almost like defending a legend. You're not so much protecting this creature as you are protecting what it stands for, right? The balance of the nature. And the one time he saw this creature, it was attacked, and he was drawn to it by the noise. So when he showed up, the Man of Metal was attacking it, and they were attacking with spears and weapons that were chained. And so they would plunge the spears through it and use the chains to wrap it up and basically drag it off through the forest. When he went to intervene, he was assaulted and left for dead. And the last thing he saw was this Man of Metal with his clawed hand basically in Gihir's stomach and the burning coals for eyes. And that was it. He took the forest spirit off, and then when Gihr finally came to, half dead, the whole forest was out of whack.
Okay. I had written spear of balance. It's spirit of balance, right?
Yes.
That was taken. Okay.
And
And so this would also be where Gihr got the impression that iron warps nature?
Yeah.
Is that fair?
That
yeah.
and well, is the only interactions he's had was with the man of metal, the man of iron, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this warping of nature is a direct consequence of it. And it could have been from the loss of the forest spirit, or it could have been from the presence of the iron. But basically, that's where this poisonous creature came from, right? This shade came from the iron.
Right.
And that's where that really mangled wolf came from too, right? The one that was poisonous and toxic.
Mm-hmm.
So it must be some combination.
So
and after Caradwin will listen to what he has to say. And she'll say, I never really saw it clearly. Whatever attacked me. It was, all I know, it was large and it was hidden by the sun. I was trying to look at the wastes. Nobody goes really up there. It's dangerous. They say things unlike anything anyone's ever seen live up there. Some people go to try and tame it, and very few ever come out. And I got too close, and it came up from behind. And if it hadn't been for Kadal, I wouldn't have gotten back. So they are similar. I can't say I've seen it.
So Gihr will say, he must have been trying to accomplish something there. Was he hunting some other nature spirits?
I don't know. I don't know of anything that lives up there. Like I said, it's not settled. Not even the toughest of animals go up there, as far as we know. The ground is made out of ice and like broken glass. It's not habitable by most things.
So just to be clear, the Iron Revenant, the way it's written up, the only way to stop it is for it to fulfill its vow. So somehow the two of you got between it and its vow.
Oh no.
It doesn't say it has to fulfill its vow. It just says the vow.
The vow needs to be fulfilled, yeah.
So that's the canon way to beat this thing. So we're
What
gonna
are
have
we
to
gonna
figure
come up
something
with?
out. Yeah.
What are we gonna do?
So
Yeah.
we basically threw a dart at this board, picked one of the hardest creatures, and then went, all right, let's crank this up a little bit.
There's no softies in the horrors column. That's
I had literally no idea what this thing would look like.
Yep.
I just said it's a horror.
Yep.
And our backstories matched perfectly. It's weird.
Oh, this is so bizarre. And yes, to anybody who is watching, as the person that organized this game, I promise you on a stack of whatever books you find that I need to promise on, I will promise on them. These people did not know each other's backstories. I promise you that. I specifically brought everybody into this with no clue as to who each one was going to be. So,
well, that just happened.
Dice and history and stuff. I love this game.
But Caradwin will say, if it is the same thing you saw, if it's the same type of thing and not the same one, if there's more than one, it's a danger to many people, isn't it?
That a danger to this world. What it did to my forest is unnatural, is not right. So, I ask you, come with me. Help me hunt this thing. Bring it down.
I will help you figure out how to take it down. I will go with you, but I need to start looking for my brother as well. I'm afraid something much more dangerous than a few thieves or looters attacked him.
You would also have absolutely no idea where this thing is right now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I only know where I was attacked, the Shattered Waste. That's
And Gihr,
far from here.
would there have been... Is there any way it was the same area, or was it a completely different place where you were?
I was in the deep wilds.
That's
Yeah,
right.
it's
you were.
completely
That's right.
different
So,
ends.
yeah, literally opposite ends of the same continent. So, yeah.
So
Like this attack happened on her like her scars are very old. It happened a while ago.
Right.
Probably when she was around 22, something like that, early 20s, and she's about 30 now. So
Gears just happened recently. This was
Yeah, he's on the mission. He's on the immediately inspired mission
so it's
caused by them,
possible
right?
they're
So,
the same thing.
Yeah.
The same one, but yeah.
Or we can make it complicated and say
Have
there's a collection of them
yeah,
that are
let's have-
hunting things.
let's have 2 or 3
Well,
of them. They're only
Yeah, let's
epic
have a
level.
couple dozen.
It-
Yeah,
but
they're hunting things
also-
all over this peninsula.
But the deep wilds are south of here,
Mhm.
Yep.
which is where we're going on
Yep.
the clue for Codell.
Yep,
Mm-hmm.
it's all coming together.
And so Gear will say, fine, I'll help you track your brother. But we search for information on this thing, this man of metal. When we find him, we have him take us to wherever he's keeping the white mane, and then we set it free, and we kill him.
Of course.
And at that point, you guys walk back into the little clearing.
Did we just
Wait,
Yeah,
do
Yes,
a
we
thing?
did.
Another
I
one?
think
Yeah.
we're, I
Yes,
think we're
you did.
debating something because
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
yeah. Was that a vow or a bond? That's my
I'm
question.
Thinking, I'm
Both.
thinking, I'm
Maybe
thinking that's a
both?
vow.
Yeah.
I was this close.
Maybe.
So, Gear will say that he'll promise to help her find her brother. In return, she will help him hunt this man of metal.
An exchange of vows.
Yeah, and so
Wait a minute, that
Gear
means you're
will-
married, doesn't it? You exchange vows? No, is that how that works? No, no,
I think that's a subset.
that's a different set of vows. Okay, I wasn't sure.
So Gear, in his customary culture, will reach up with the clawed hand and just drag one of the claws across his forehead, spilling a bunch of blood, wipe it across his face, and hold the iron out to seal the vow.
Caradwin will look at it. We'll
Pulls on a
take
glove.
no, we'll take the hand, but we'll also like push her hair back on her right side, and on that side she's got a lot of bone piercings that kind of along the side. But there's one tiny one that looks like it's made of iron.
Oh,
It's the tiniest bit of metal of
Yeah.
iron, just like teeny, but it's there, and so she'll hold on to that as well, while also taking the other one.
Ooh, interesting.
very cool. So put those on the character sheets. And
I know. I was like, did we?
you
forge a
kind of did, yeah.
bond?
We
I
did, yeah. We
realized,
just
yeah.
made promises.
I'm
Yep.
pretty sure we just did both, but I
Yep.
was like,
So figured that out, what we're doing there, whether those are bonds, vows, or both, between the two of you, while we take a short break. And it's been like an hour and 24 minutes, and we've covered probably 45 minutes of actual in-game time. So,
But we had to do it twice. 'cause
Well,
it was
yeah, I have to do it
happening in
all
two
twice.
different
So
places.
you're right. We're actually doing live time. That's not bad. I play lots of games where 3 hours of game time takes 20 minutes of actual. But anyway, with that, let's take a quick, short, well, not a quick break. Let's take a proper sort of 15-minute break here. we'll get ourselves settled away. You guys can figure out how you want to write those up and what difficulty they're at and that sort of thing.
Oh yeah.
And meanwhile, our characters can break camp and get ready to head back
get
to
ready to head back to a problem like Amala. And with that, we will see everybody in just a couple of minutes. And we are back. Oh, man. Viewers and persons watching in the future, you can't imagine the conversation we just had. I don't think any of us got much of a break done. We were just, what's going on? This is amazing. So, with no further ado, let us continue the amazingness. Robin, Karis, Austin, and I shall now continue. Just to catch everybody up, bonds were made, more vows were taken, and as we took our break, I believe the two of them, I just realized from Amala and Bill's point of view, the two of them come walking out of the woods with an animal or a prey animal of some kind for breakfast, adjusting their clothing. I'm just going to point that out.
And Gihr's face
and looking at each other in a deeply bonded way. So that's all I'm going to say.
He's covered in blood.
And Gihr's got a big rip across his forehead and there's blood all over his face, but he's smiling through that. So draw what conclusions you will.
Wow, that got really weird.
Yeah, because it wasn't weird before the break. It wasn't weird until that happened.
Absolutely.
But that was like our kind of
pointed
weird.
it out.
Schrodinger's awkwardness.
No, there was no Schrodinger about it. This is awkward. There's no may or may not be. This is
wasn't weird
awkward.
when it was just the two of us in the woods, but now that there's two other people
No, somebody saw it. And said, now it's weird. Yeah, okay. And with that, you guys come back in, and we are now resupplied. I know we made the roll before, but we're resupplied now. We've had our brekkie. And
we'll butcher these young rabbits.
Go.
Have some meat to go with our porridge.
Yes.
Oh, and then shall we break camp and head back?
Yeah. I would just look in here.
What do you guys think? Do you think we can make it in a single day getting back? It took us, a day and a half to get here?
Yeah.
We had a lot going on.
And we moved a little bit away from where we
were moving
with the shade.
We are moving really carefully though, because we are searching.
Yeah, we don't need.
So if we hightail it, we could probably make it back.
I think we could definitely make it back.
Okay. So
if we just retrace our own steps at speed, it shouldn't take too much time.
Follow the river. We know it goes straight back.
The river. We only know the one place to cross it, right?
Yeah, but that's just right over here.
Mm-hmm.
Just as long as Gihr doesn't try to drink any again.
So if the fish are back.
Wouldn't it take a little longer for it, even if we take away the source, doesn't it take time to wash out?
I don't know. It's our story. You gotta stop asking questions and start saying things. This is kind of a. Oh no!
No, but the Amala is asking.
Yeah.
Oh.
I can ask this.
Yeah, the Amala was asking.
Oh, so I have to make a statement then.
Yes, you do.
Surely we fixed it when we chased off that thing you fought, right? That's fixed it, isn't it?
That's what I thought.
Well, you didn't kill it though. It went into the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Is it still down in the groundwater? Oh my.
Sorry. Gihr will say, when we were out hunting, I found something that wasn't quite right. This taint in the trees. It's done so much damage. The balance, it can't return, at least for some time. It's going to take one life cycle at least for this forest to return. But before I leave, I will set it straight. I will set it to where it can return on its own time.
It's Speaking of returning, Shaman Amala, I think you've got an appointment.
Yep, I do with that. And we
Oh,
have to get
yes.
Girdwin's horse.
We must tell your shaman that we killed the thing in the forest.
Yes, that's what we need to tell her. Absolutely.
And she may have some information on the man of metal.
She might. You should absolutely ask her about that. Yes.
Oh dear.
And Bill looks
dear.
at Bill looks at Amala and says, "Maybe we lead with that bit where we're heroes, right?" And yeah, let's, I guess we start heading back, unless anybody has anything they wanted to do before we book camp. Oh, inner DM out there. Shut up, Kevin.
Yeah, I think we can.
Do we have to undertake a journey?
I mean, we had to do one to get here, didn't we?
That's only for unfamiliar ones.
You're right, yeah.
So we don't have to do that for this way around, because we're just going back the way.
Yeah, hazardous or unfamiliar, and this probably isn't that hazardous. We
It
were
isn't
just
anymore.
here. Yeah, we just dealt with the hazard, especially as far as
Yeah,
we're
it's been a
concerned, right?
day.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that we haven't actually solved the problem is beside the point. We think we have. So
now
let's
it's
go.
just average.
Average normal Ireland.
Average
life.
hardness.
Yeah, exactly.
Which
Now
we're
it's only
curious
iron.
to see what changes. Yeah.
Less sort of purple scaly stuff is basically all we accomplished.
Well, we hope so.
Mushrooms, hopefully.
Mushroom.
And with that, we make our way back. I don't think we need. Yeah, we don't need to undertake a journey to get back.
I think we just need to lose one supply for the day travel.
Yep. And I guess like a quick reverse summary of what we walk past back as we head back to town, because we go across the ford, right, which we didn't know about before, except for the crows. There's the body of the wolf, the corrupted
Gihr
wolf.
took it off out of the way. So it's
right,
not
but there,
invisible.
so
But
we
this
walk
is
past the
where we
place where
fought
that
the wolf.
happened.
Where
yeah.
it was, yeah.
We walk
And that's
past
right at the top of the cliffs where with the switchbacks going down the.
We have to climb down the waterfall or jump down.
So back
I'm
down the
kind of curious about that thing behind the waterfall, but maybe I should wait till the river clears out a bit more before I check into that. Yeah.
we don't
Before
need to
we
be
go over the
burning.
waterfall, Gier's gonna go stick his hand in the river.
Of course
Okay.
He's not gonna drink it. He's just gonna stick his hand in it, to see
And
if
the
it's
flesh
returned to
melts
normal.
off.
Right.
And he loses a finger.
So I'm gonna face danger.
Yep, absolutely. Do a face danger for sure. Let's see what happens here.
And this is for the purpose of making progress on my vow to restore this first. So I guess I'm doing it with aggressive action. So I'm gonna go iron.
Ooh.
And I have nothing. I don't face danger. Okay.
We get
You succeed but face a troublesome cost.
You burn your fingers.
It has to be more complicated than that.
Well, I mean, you are delayed, you are tired or hurt, or you are dispirited or afraid, or you sacrifice resources. Those are the four for a week hit.
Indoor harm. No.
But you face a troublesome cost. So I'll take the -1 momentum because I want to tell a story with this. I don't want it to be as simple as just damage.
Yeah.
Gihr kind of walks up in this place where the tainted wolf was, and just sticks his hand into the river and kind of swishes it around a bit and pulls it out. And there's definitely some tingling, and it's uncomfortable. It's still caustic, but not nearly as much. And as he looks down now at the river, there are these collection of upturned fish still on the water, coming from upstream. These freshwater fish that are just drifting and going over the falls. And so not only is this was tainted unnaturally, now it's going to be tainted naturally, at least for the foreseeable future, until the dead things can be cleaned out of it.
So yeah, watching all the dead stuff float by and watching Gihr do that, Bill would walk up next to him and say, we fixed it, right? It's going to get better?
It'll take some time. But this taint is natural. This is the way of the forest.
Right. I thought there'd be more to it than that.
Are you uneasy?
I'm not sure what I am. I made that rash promise to them people to clean up this river, and we cleaned it up. To be honest, I feel worse than I did before, not better.
We're not done yet.
We're
That
not.
forest shade. No, the shade. It didn't die. It escaped. The people of Kinheim still may be in danger. But we won't know until it comes back out of hiding.
So we're not done with it.
No.
Huh. Well, that's interesting.
Did
Yeah.
Gihr clean the blood off his face, or does he just have dried blood dripping down
It's
his
dry.
face?
Yeah,
Yeah.
just kind of
Those are
crunchy.
warrior marks.
Just wondering, just for aesthetic
Yeah.
reasons.
He's terribly concerned about that, we can tell.
Yeah.
And so Gihr and Bill are kind of off to the side, and Caradwin and Amal are a little bit out of earshot, and so Gihr takes this opportunity to say to Bill, he says, when we were walking through the forest, I was tempted to call you Rattlebones. The way your teeth chatter when you're afraid, the way your knees knock, everything can hear you. But I know now, the iron is in your heart. That's what you use to swear your vow. I'll find a name for you yet.
The name you're looking for, mister, is Sneaky Fucker, and you ain't never seen it yet. And when you do, you'll know you're seeing it, 'cause you won't see it, right?
Gihr kind of silently, the gears are turning in his head. I'll call you Sneak Thief then.
Right.
Accurate.
To quote my father, I've been called worse by better. Don't thump me, mister, don't thump me, it's just a saying.
Gihr kind of lets out this hearty laugh. You know, I haven't had a companion that can make me laugh in a while. Keep your use, and you won't end up dead. And he raises his eyebrows.
Bill takes it as a slightly veiled threat and shuts up.
I think that was a not veiled threat.
Slightly veiled.
Oh, Bill's a little thick.
It was more of a playful jab.
Yeah.
With the meat hand of a giant.
Yeah. And so.
But you do get a big toothy smile with the big gnarly canines in it.
The blood cracks and sort of flakes away from the face. Sort of. Yeah. Oh, leaving that sort of the weird sort of area right around your face. It's all shattered. Oh, ew.
And the
Like the
corners
reverse
of the eyes.
clown. Oh yeah, like the red face but with the white.
Oh, the reverse clown.
Ugh. Anyway, now we invented
have a reverse
that.
raccoon and a reverse clown.
Yep, and an
That's
anti-dryad.
good.
There's a theme.
What is going on, guys? All the tropes, we're turning them backwards.
Twist.
I mean, did we
We are
expect anything
not
less?
these tropes.
No.
Yes. So,
I do have an idea for when
Yes.
we get back.
okay. Yeah.
What?
Well, we're almost
did
there,
make
I
a
think,
little
because we're back
progress.
down the river, back towards Kinheim, into those areas right around Kinheim itself, which are rough farmland, I'm assuming, at this point. Some animals grazing about and a little bit of wheat and whatnot growing, probably. And,
I hate to hijack this story again, but I'm going to do it.
yep.
Just briefly, as we exit this forest, Gihr turns around and he looks at it, thinking this may be the last time in a while he steps foot in these trees. And so he is going to attempt, at least mechanically, to fulfill his vow to restore the order of the forest.
Okay.
Or not so much restore its order, but shift it back onto the natural path.
Yep.
Now, that being said, vow is a little bit different than what you made because this balance is very delicate, and should the shade come back, it will absolutely fall apart again.
Right.
And so, what do I have to roll to finish? Oh, I just have to roll against my vow.
Yep. Whatever your vow is at.
Ooh, a weak hit. What do I do here? I don't even know what I'm doing, guys. What am I doing?
Let's see. Is it
Your
fulfill
moves.
vow
Yeah.
Yes.
on a weak hit?
There's more to be done, or you realize the truth of your quest. Envision what you discover. Oh, it's just basically what I said.
Yeah. You're not done.
So,
Yeah.
so
If
You're
she
not done,
comes-
but you're
either
done for
swear-
now.
Yeah. If she
Swear
comes
another
back, you're
vow.
gonna have to come back. Yeah.
So yeah, this quest is done though.
Yeah.
So it says, mark your experience for completing this quest. You can either swear a vow to set things right. So
So what was the level of this quest?
this was a dangerous quest.
So you get 2 experience, I believe.
I think I only get 1. But Gihr will look at these trees and kind of look up to them, and closing his eyes and kind of getting his body in tune with this collection of nature. He knows that at this moment this is right. But the way it's teetering, it's not going to be right for long. And so he reaches up and just pushes his thumb into the canine, rubs his fingers together, and lets the blood drop into the earth. And more of a threat to the creature that's residing in the ground than a promise to the trees, he's going to say, "When I see you, you'll escape." Wipes the blood on his forehead. So he's going to swear to get revenge on this shade.
Okay. So yeah, we'll figure out afterwards exactly how many experience you got for that. I think it's 2 for a level 2, but either way. And then you can spend that between sessions too. You can actually improve an asset with 2, I think, and buy a new asset with 3. Is that how that? Or is that how I remember that?
Yep. So
I
I'm
think
going to
so.
change this vow to revenge on the Antidryad.
Yep. Excellent. And while you do that, Amala, why don't you take us back into Kinheim?
I had an idea for.
Oh, you first? Okay.
Okay.
I just really want to see this scene.
I know. So when we crest the edge of the forest and kind of into the little glade before Kinheim, again, there's lots of crows in the trees. They're kind of in there. There's so many there. You can tell it's darkened by that many. And once you reach the boundaries of Kinheim, there's a couple perched on different, fencing and things, all the way to the shaman's hut, where Weena is standing outside of it, waiting.
Oh,
For
damn.
Amala.
Oh, you're in trouble. Who I'm telling?
I would like to.
Also, take a breath. And we're going forward.
Yeah. Bill's looking at the raven or the crows and looking at Weena and looking at Amala and going like around in the quick circle. Is this an honor guard of crows for Amala? Or are these crows on Weena's side? Is what he's trying to figure out.
Ooh.
I don't know about the crows, but I know
do.
Weena is. Yeah.
Okay, so Weena is furious. That makes sense. Yeah, scary magic woman at the end of the time. Yeah.
Outwardly, she looks rather calm, but she is upset, and I'm sure Amala can tell.
Okay, and Amala then
She's not upset. She's just disappointed.
No,
She's upset.
she's upset. She's pissed. Yeah,
She's
this
both
is yeah.
upset and disappointed.
So the crows, yours or hers?
Well, so shall see. Okay, so Amala takes a deep breath. Centers herself, steels herself,
Mm-hmm.
and walks up, with her normal sort of demure posture around Weena, her demure and obedient posture to her master. And the large one of the crows from before is hopping up behind her.
The one that chewed you out?
Well, I mean, they all kind of chewed
The
me out.
biggest, but the head crow.
The matriarch.
Yeah.
It's the matriarch.
The
is murdered.
matriarch, sure.
Yes, the matriarch is murdered.
Yeah. Bill's
even
staying
has a
back.
name.
Well
That's a
back.
sentence.
Before Amala stepped too far in, Caradon would check with Amala to see if she needed to do this alone. Because she asked her the night before, is she in danger from Weena? And she said she didn't know.
I would trust Caradwin's instincts on that.
Mm-hmm.
Then Caradwin's staying close to Amala.
Gihr's not going, but he'll offer a little bit of, we'll kind of just lean over towards Amala and say, "You've earned your iron. Walk proud." Turn away. Even though Gihr still carries it, Amala's earned it, so.
So, you walk up. And this is where I shut up.
Yeah. Give it.
You guys may mute. Okay, so I'm standing before Weena in a demure pose.
And she will look at you and then open the way into the hut for you to go in, and will stop Caradwin from following.
But the crow comes in.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't mind that. She's just Caradwin is staying out. Mainly because I play both.
Yeah, needs must.
Yeah, and so she will close it quickly behind you and stare you down for a long moment, seeing if you were going to say anything. What do you think you were doing?
Deep breath. Glance at the crow. I thought I was feeling around the area of effect. We'd come upon a place where some unnatural mushrooms were, and I wanted to see how widely affected the forest was.
You were meddling with things beyond your ken. You were experimenting with things. I've told you how dangerous that is. And yet you did it anyway, and you delved into the shadow where you're not supposed to go. How many times have I told you? You're not ready for it.
Thinking inside my mind, well, no, you haven't said anything, but yes, we know.
You're not supposed to use your rituals that way. That's not how this works. It's dangerous. Do you know what could have happened? Do you know what you could have done?
I've got a pretty good idea, yes.
Mind telling me what you believe could have happened?
we faced a creature of shadow that was drawn to some iron, and I very nearly allowed the shadow to dominate and caused me to lash out in vengeance and anger that was not my own.
You see the danger that poses, correct?
Yes, we know.
I've told you before that you don't do things unless it is how it is done. You follow the rites of the rituals. You follow how things should be done.
And glance at the crow.
There are reasons for this, and that is one of them. If you don't follow the rules, dangerous things happen, things you can't control nor predict, things I can't help save you from.
Yes, we know. I understand that.
You say there was something of shadow there. You should not have tried to face it. You are not ready. You are an apprentice. And by doing so, you could have gotten many people hurt.
We were already in danger, though. It attacked. It attacked Gihr. And the crow kind of squawks and shuffles. Yes, we know.
Regardless of what was happening, you should not have tried to meddle with things, to try and twist your rituals into unnatural shapes. There's no telling what could have happened, what could have erupted from your meddling with those things. You know that you're not supposed to do that.
Is there any telling what would have happened if I hadn't?
If you hadn't meddled, or if you hadn't stopped, if you hadn't stopped the shadow from taking you.
I guess either. How do we know when we've done the right thing? How do we know what would have been?
We only know by doing things the correct way, the way things are meant to follow order. If you mess with other things, you mess with nature, you mess with the way the earth cycles, you mess with the shadow, you mess with the light. It's a balance. And by messing with one, you mess with the other. So no,
Yes.
there's no way to say what would or would not have happened. But there is a way to say that messing with that balance can cause ripples through many different things. And it was irresponsible for you to try and craft something you have not learned yet.
Yes, we know. I do see that.
So what do you have to say for yourself?
I am grateful that disaster did not befall despite my misstep. And I am sorry it took that for me to learn the lesson.
Your recklessness is dangerous. You need to keep control of discipline and knowledge. Mistakes like that cannot be undone easily if something goes wrong.
Yes, but that's not how the crows tell me to do it.
What do you mean? We use the crows for augury, for guidance.
Well, yes, and they give guidance, and they are always right when they give guidance. But they tell me it can work. What do you do? I'm sorry.
That what can work.
That it's all the same. That it's all the same, and that when I try to say, well, no, this is this and this is that, and they tell me I'm missing the point, and it's all the same.
You're not speaking clearly. Are you saying the crows encouraged your experimentation?
Within limits, yes. She's here with me right now.
And she'll look at the crow, and then back up at Amala. They give guidance, not orders. It is for you to use your best judgment on what is and is not the best way to do things. I've told you treat the crows too informally, that your conversations with them are unorthodox. Perhaps you have started misinterpreting things.
So what? The spirit that we faced, we did chase it away, but it was not conquered. And comparing notes between Caradwin and Gihr, as a group, we feel that we should follow up on some of the information to seek out and destroy these spirits that have been poisoning the forests and the water.
I will reach out if it's a creature of shadow, as you say. I should be able to see if I can ascertain anything deeper. They are free to go about their search, but you stay within Kinheim.
But you stay here. And they're thinking they need to travel far. You say that you've said over and over that, you know, the people here in our circle, that they need, you know, they need the regular help of the shamans, that they need, you know, the blessings on the fields and the observing the rituals in the day-to-day life and keeping the order of life going. But what do travelers do? Don't they also need someone reading the auguries for them and doing those things and tending to those things for them, even though they are not in one place?
Some don't believe in auguries and shamans. Some grow up in places where they don't even have them. And yes, they grow up differently. But it is not for us to intervene in that. If they did not require a shaman to get here, they do not require one to leave.
Is there a mechanic for consequence if I just outright lie to her now?
I would suggest that would be testing your bond.
Ooh, that's a good one. I didn't think of that.
I feel so
Well,
mean.
This is an amazing scene.
love
I
it.
am already all the way deeply into gobsmacked. So
We've known since session 0 that we were coming to this. So
Yep.
Yes.
okay. So I need
Me
to...
and Kevin are over here silent, just like the peanut gallery.
I'm sitting here like, yeah. Oh, okay. Testing the bond.
Yep.
Oh no.
Any
this a
sort
heart
of
roll?
modifier? I don't know
Roll
what it
plus
is.
heart. Actually, you have a bond with her, right?
Yes.
So I believe having a bond with her.
Nope.
That's
adds-
right.
Just roll plus heart.
It is just roll plus heart. I guess it
your
assumes
bond
the
is
bond.
being tested through
Yep.
conflict, betrayal, or circumstance.
Oh
wow.
How perfect is that? You're not.
But it strengthened the bond.
Yeah. So take one spirit, two
And
momentum.
No, you choose one.
Oh, sorry. So one spirit or two momentum.
And tell us a story.
And it doesn't necessarily need to be strengthening the bond for good. Bonds can be uncomfortable. It could be a bond of necessity. It could be a bond that you have that is antagonistic. So it could be strengthening it, but maybe for more negative.
Or you could be breaking the bond as teacher and student, but forming a bond as a respected shaman.
But she's not going to go for that bond.
No.
I mean, this should have been a miss. Because, I mean, what Amala's doing... So Amala's making a decision.
Well, let's see what the lie is.
Well, the lie is, yes, Weena. With a very firm intent to forsake a vow.
Then I would say we go with that and see where it takes us. And then maybe the bond gets forsaken later.
Well, and
What-
so is it, do I get the 2 momentum now rather than paying the price? This gives me the momentum to take me out of Kinheim.
Yep.
Because she'll know once you leave what happened, and that's when the bond will be broken.
Maybe
not
she-
now.
Oh, yes, she
Yeah.
will.
Maybe she believes your lie, therefore your bond is strengthened.
And then you leave.
And when you betray her, it just makes it that much
Because
more
she has re-exerted dominance. Yes, no, I like that.
Because
She's
you've
re-exerted
fallen
dominance,
in
and so the bond
line,
is strengthened. But I fully intend to walk out of here and forsake a vow.
Wow.
That
Okay.
bond just got stronger, and then Amala went.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so
Okay.
if it strengthens the bond, does that change the bond from a 2 to a 3?
Yes.
Yeah, it would.
I'm about to forsake a 3 bond.
It's okay because you're about to forsake a 5 vow. So
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, we know.
Oh, okay. Getting back into it. Good.
And that girl has a name, and she knows what I'm doing.
Yep. Oh yeah, you can't lie
You
to
know
the
how when a
crows.
crow looks at
The crow is side-eyeing Amala like,
Yeah.
When a crow looks at you with that steely eye.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, strong con knows.
now, I would suggest that we let our travelers get on their way if they wish.
They do have
And-
news for the headmen, though. They should report.
Of course.
And
But I believe you and I should get back to our duties.
should I not be with them for the report?
If you have pertinent information to share with the headman, then you may go. But come right back here.
Yes, Wayman.
And then she will do her dismissive turn from you as if this conversation is over for now, and she'll move on to another thing. So you are dismissed.
And I'd like to think a very judgmental crow hops out the door behind you, looking up at you like
And-
waiting for an explanation.
And Caradwin is right there waiting for Amala.
So what do we see? Well, I mean, I'm way across the room. What does Caradwin see when you first step out of that hut? What's your demeanor? What do you look like?
She looks like iron resolve.
Are you alright, Amala?
We should go report to the headman.
Of course. Everything went okay? You're not hurt.
Not yet.
And Caradwin will take that and go.
Good answer.
And it's sort of like, you know,
She can pick up on the clues. She can
Yeah.
pick
you
up
get
on
a
the clues.
sharp look back, and you get kind of a nod. It's like, yep, that's exactly what you think it means.
Yeah. So you guys come over and get the boys, and we head off to the
Yes.
headman's hut.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Which, fortunately, I don't think they'll call the whole council of all 3 elders.
Kevin,
No.
you play the headman.
Mostly
don't you?
because I don't want Weena there.
Yeah, not a problem. Yeah,
And he's
And-
a total prick, isn't he?
he is.
Yeah,
he
he
is. Yeah,
is.
he's
Cruel
cruel. I believe was the word.
Yes.
And
Cruel
and
Forrester
Bill
Oh.
can just
protects
stay in
the
the shadows.
status
That's what he
quo.
does.
I'll lead
Caradwin's
this
never
one.
met him
Mhm.
properly.
Right.
So Caradwin's gonna have a blast on this one.
She's like her brother has dealt with him, but she is not. Though they're twins, so they're very, very similar.
Right.
So as you come up and approach Bill and Gihr kind of stands up off the log. Let's go. And he begins to walk towards the headman's hut, which he's been in once before.
Yep.
And when he gets
And
there,
she puts a hand on Bill's arm. Caradwin is going to need her horse.
Right then. I'll see the lot of you just outside.
ooh, I like that.
And fade away. We'll do that in a minute.
Well, that's how you can now play the
I'm
Thank you.
always,
Yep.
I'm always the clueless one. I have no idea what subtle fuckery is going on. So Gihr just kind of.
Caradwin's going to stay close to Amala just because she has a feeling that she needs some kind of support.
Right.
And
Because
I've earned my iron, and I believe it, and I'm clinging to death.
but Caradwin is there in case you need a hand.
All right, Faded. Have a good night, man.
And
You
I
can
think-
catch the rest of it on VOD or in a day and a half on YouTube. Good night, dude.
So I do think that you're our spokesman, Gihr.
oh yeah, Gihr just walks up and pulls the tent flap open and walks in.
Yeah, and there's that sort of, like you said before, there's a sort of the public half of the building and the private half, and he's sort of sitting in court at the back of the public half.
Well, because by now we've been here for some
A little
time,
while.
and so he's aware we're coming.
Yeah, and the day is underway, and he's doing his headman thing, so you can... Wash your face before you come into my presence.
We come with news. Your village people, they get to live longer since we've intervened.
You solved the problem?
We cleared a forest spirit, an evil entity, a shade, from the woods nearby.
What proof do you have of this?
Everything's returning to how it should be.
I see no change.
Give it days. Even an old fool like you knows the forest is different.
This old
The water
fool
was
controls
tainted.
all the forest. What?
The river was tainted. It was being affected by this shade. It will go back to normal.
We'll see.
There are
Take
dead fish littering the waters if you need to look.
That's what I'd reported.
Yeah, it'll take a few
yesterday?
cycles of the moon
Yesterday.
for things to get back to normal.
So what you're saying is you're done here?
What we're saying is you're welcome.
I'll save my thanks until I can drink the water again.
It may return.
So you didn't do your job.
You're safe for now.
So you say. You don't expect payment, do you?
No. We expect information.
That's free. What do you need to know?
I asked you before about the pillars. But there's a man. A man who wears metal. We need to know anything you know.
I'm just trying to figure out it's definitely an oracle.
How likely is it that he knows?
Exactly,
anything
because
at
it's.
all?
I mean, it's not likely, right?
I don't think it's likely at all.
Call it a 10% chance and roll
Maybe.
a d100?
Yeah, let's just do that. That's
Or just
faster
do
than.
an unlikely. Just hit an unlikely.
That's what I was looking for, but
So
It's
10
under,
and below?
Oracles,
60.
ask
Oh,
the
yeah.
oracle.
I missed it. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. It
He
is.
knows nothing.
He knows nothing. Again, I told you before. I don't know anything about this metal, man. If I had that much metal, the last thing I'd do is wrap it around a man.
Hmm. Kinheim is safer now. Your wildlife, it will come back. A farmer that hired me. His sheep will be safe. The wolves will go back to their hunting grounds. In a few cycles of the moon, everything will be as it once was.
So you're done here, and I can stop feeding you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you so much.
One last thing before I leave.
Yes.
I thought at first it was only your bones that were old, but clearly your eyes and your mind are as well. It's time for you to return to the earth. Stand up. Walk out.
As he waits until you're heading for the door and not towards him, and as soon as he realizes you're leaving, he's not, leave, get out of my town, get out of my circle.
I just rip the whole flap off the door and take it with me.
Leaving the two of you standing in the room.
Oh no, I'm scuttling after.
You're gone with, yeah.
Carolyn is lingering.
Yeah.
I would be more grateful over someone who saved the life of your people.
And he is just apoplectically red, but he's looking at your bow and at your weapons and at your obvious ability to kill him in a heartbeat. And he just... Get out.
Your trade partner Frostmouth will hear of this. Of your shrewdness.
And he looks
she'll walk
disturbed.
out.
Yeah, he looks disturbed by that. Like he just realized what this actually cost him in the long run. Is this whole trade deal, right? So, yep. And you step out.
So as Gihr steps out, and Amala's just right up behind him, she sort of shoves him. Okay, so the shaman's hut's that way.
So
she shoves him this way. So I don't want him going clear out into the clearing. I want him just to duck straight over to the left.
Okay, yeah.
Gihr's pretty easy to steer at this point because he has just ripped the flap door, like the tanned
He has a sail.
leather.
Yeah.
And what he's going to do is hold it up and just cut with his claws a big hole, like slit down the center, open it up, and slide it over Amala like a poncho.
That's enough with that. No, that way. Now.
We'll keep you warm when we travel.
Yeah, good. Now.
Gihr.
And sort of keeps an eye out for
Let's go
when
this
Caradwin
way.
comes and snags Caradwin as she comes out the door. This
No,
way.
Caradwin will notice and then we'll direct him more directly.
I will
This
follow. I will move. I have no idea what's going on.
We get as out of sight of the shaman's hut before Weena notices that the meeting with the headmen is done.
Yep.
Now you said it. How likely is it that she saw?
Oh, she's inside the hut, deep inside the hut. I don't think
she's
she would.
inside. She very firmly went back to her rituals and
She
stuff.
wouldn't see, but she would expect her back at a certain amount of time.
She would
Loud and
expect
clear.
her back. Yeah, she would.
That was too
expect her
complicated.
back. Yeah, no, she would expect her back shortly and would not monitor in the meantime. It's like, if we move now, we're going now.
Then we move.
And we get out, and Bill's got Caradwin's horse.
I will have in a second. So as that's going on, I guess we might as well do this. Bill sort of does the fade thing and just disappears and just backs up against a palisade and drifts around until he's behind the stable area. Feet comes out, scurries off, has a look around inside the stable, comes back and draws Bill a little map in the sand so he knows where the people are and he knows where your horse is. So that gives me +1. I would like to check my gear because I know I've got them. I pulled the carrots out.
Here's with us.
And the carrots, because I have improviser, mean I can use well, it doesn't really matter because I can use wits or supply, and supply is higher. So we're at supply 4 right now, or 5?
4, I think.
4. So okay.
We should resupply while we're here.
So yes, I get to use a 4
We know
instead of a
another
3, so
circle
that's
not too
plus
far
1 for the
away.
improviser. I have infiltrator and I'm sneaking in, so that gives me another plus 1 plus feet. He told you he was good at this.
He's a
It
sneaky fucker.
is supply, which is for him 4 plus 2.
So that's a. Oh damn!
That's a lot.
Wait, no, you get plus. I counted a total of 3.
Plus 1
That's a
for the
se-
spider,
that's-
or for feet. Plus 1 for infiltrator because I'm sneaking, and I get plus 1 momentum if I get a hit. And
Oh, that was
then
what it was.
check my gear. I allows me to use supply instead of wits. So,
So
if
you're
essentially that's another plus 1. So I'm just going to roll wits and
6.
add plus 3. So yeah,
Yeah.
So it's plus 6 total. So yeah, I'm just going to roll wits and add plus 3 to this. So, oh no, wait, what am I doing? Use the move. Oh, use the oracle. What am I doing here? Blithering away.
Supply plus 2. Click on it right above the bar.
That's what I want. Supply plus 2. I didn't even realize you could roll supply. Is that ever nice? All right. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
11,
That is.
an 11 action die.
Yeah,
my
that's
horse
an
doesn't kick
unbeatable
you.
action die against a 1 and a 4. So yeah, the carrot after feet goes in and comes back out. Bill crawls in underneath the wall, digs a little hole and swoops in underneath the wall and looks up at the horse. And, oh, I don't remember your name, but come with me. And the horse starts nibbling on the other end of the carrot, and he's holding the green end of the carrot and walking like a little leash. And feet's back in his pack, and he just walks the horse right outside. I mean, that's an 11. So yeah, just walk right out and right through a little gap in the palisade and out into the field. And me and your horse and all their gear are standing out in the field eating carrots when you guys arrive.
And then
There, over there. He's over there.
all the other gear arrive. And Amala's wearing a crudely crafted poncho that looks pretty warm.
Yes.
Out of thick, cured leather. That's
Weirdly,
been
it says
already
"Do not
weathered and
disturb"
About
on
that
it.
right now.
It's not even
And-
smelly. It's
And
like
just for reference,
perfect.
Carradin's horse is only about 14 hands high, which is about 4'8". So a rather short horse as far as horses go.
So yeah, Bill and the horse are not that far off of nose to nose, and they're sharing. The carrots are still in a bunch, and the horse is eating that carrot, and Bill's eating this carrot. Kind of the Lady and the Tramp sort of thing going on there.
Is that a bond?
Yeah, with,
With my companion.
with your horse, yeah. Oh, she's a right lovely one. She is, miss.
Yes, he is.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was talking to the horse.
Oh,
And you can see he's grinning. What you would see is that Bill looks loose and like happy and like something good just happened.
He's riding high.
You should have seen me, handsome. Oh, I was invisible, I was. Sneaky fucker, that's it. Oh, sneak thief, that's it. That's me, that is. I stole an horse. It weren't even mine, and no one saw me. Oh, we should probably go, though, eh?
Carradin will go up to
Yes.
them and say, "You're lucky he didn't kick you."
That's the story of my life, miss. Carrot? And I kind of flip out a third carrot so that everyone else, you'd have to come in real close to eat your carrot.
Maybe save it for later. Good job.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
And she'll kind of take the reins from him because it's her fault.
And Bill turns a weather eye on Amala. Is that the face he sees? The face that Karis is wearing right now? Just sort of, what have I just
no.
done?
Oh, danger.
So perhaps we should put some distance between us and them.
Are you sure, Amala?
yes. I am sure.
The look on your
Where
face
do
says
I
that
have-
decision's been made, miss.
Then
Or
I have
should
your
I
back.
say, shaman?
I don't know about that yet. Okay, so when I renounce my quest, betray my promiser, the goal is lost to me, clear the vow, and endure stress. So minus spirit equal to the rank of my quest.
Which was?
Was
The
that an epic quest?
obedience to my master
Uh-huh.
was formidable.
Okay, so that's only 3.
That's only
So that's
-3.
3.
Spirit.
If the vow was made to a person or community with whom you share a bond, test your bond when you next meet.
Yes.
I don't
when you
think
next- okay.
we'll forget that.
No, that if we
So you
get
don't
back
have to do that now.
well, I mean, if we get back to Kiddenheim, first of all, Gihir's not allowed in.
Caradwin might not be allowed.
Yeah, and
in.
Bill stole a horse, even though it wasn't somebody there's horse. So yeah, we're probably
They're
not
not
coming
gonna.
back.
They're not really gonna know that, because Caradwin is
Yeah, it's my horse. So
horse
they
is
would
gone.
just...
They're
Well,
not
to
gonna
be
really know.
and to be honest,
Okay.
they'd probably blame Amala for all of it. But so yeah, that's
Very likely.
minus
So
3 spirit,
Minus 3 spirit.
and that is absolutely positively enduring stress.
Clear.
Yep. Yeah, let's
my
do it in order.
vow.
Clear the vow.
Clearing it doesn't do anything. Oh, because I didn't have. It was clears the progress on it.
Yeah.
Oh, that clears the progress on it rather than doing it right.
And then you
Okay.
can just eliminate you just delete the vow bit at the top there. So
But I've got to replace that with another vow.
Yep.
Okay, let's see. Endure stress. Okay. Spirit or heart here? Let me
you
read the
tell
endure
us.
stress.
Probably spirit.
Okay.
Depending on how much spirit she has.
whichever is higher, it
Probably
says. So
more than her heart.
anytime I see whichever is higher, what I read is whichever one makes more sense to you.
Yeah.
I would
So,
go
Spirit
heart.
or
When you
heart?
face it, well, when you face a mental shock or despair, suffer minus spirit equal to your foe's rank or as appropriate to the situation, which we've
Yeah,
already
so we
done
did
that.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if your spirit is 0, which it is not yet.
No.
Then roll plus spirit or plus heart, whichever is higher, and I actually think they're the same.
So they're both 2
No,
right now,
heart.
right?
No, spirit is still higher.
Okay, so yeah, roll whatever's
Okay,
left of
so
your spirit. And endure stress. Let's see what happens. Oh,
Okay.
It's a weak hit.
On a weak hit, you press on, and yes, I press on.
You press on. Yep. So
And so I continue with the stress.
you shudder and you take.
Yep.
How does that
Operating
manifest?
on the momentum I got earlier.
What's going on in Amala's head right now? How does this manifest, this stress?
Okay, so Iron Will to the edge of Kinheim. And
Yep.
we kind of get to it's not an actual border, but as I kind of step past the last of the outer fields. Oh my god, what have I done? I just did absolute panic. I can't believe I just did it. No, I can do this. I can do this. Okay.
And Bill just
Well,
puts
it's
a
done
hand.
now, isn't it? And are there any crows around? Please, like, did I do the right thing? I'm not sure I did the right thing. Yes, of course I did the right thing. It's the only thing I could do. Anyway, that's kind of what's going.
Caradwin will offer her hand to Amala as like a you can
And a
hold
white
my hand
knuckle.
if you would like.
Death grip.
Yeah.
She'll take
Yeah.
it.
When you look up, everybody's looking at you.
Oh dear.
Caradwin's close. She has her hand out to you. Gihr also has his hand open in your direction, not for you to take, but there's a small piece of iron in it.
I'm not ready to take that yet. When I take that, I will have progress on the becoming a shaman.
Okay.
But I'm not quite ready to take that yet.
You walk with us as an equal. You'll need this.
If ever anyone deserved iron, miss, what
Not
you just
deserved.
done is probably the bravest thing I ever seen. You just turned away from safety and family and love and support, and you just said, no, I'm doing this my own way.
And a crow lands on Bill's shoulder and sort of at her. Okay.
Gihr flips his hand over with the iron in it, and right before he sets it down in her hand, he says, "I'll say this one more time. You've earned this iron, despite what it attracts. With us three at your back, whatever comes, we will handle." And he sets it in her hand.
And I can think of no better place to drop the curtain.
That's it.
So, Karis, you've got a week to think what that means. You just took iron from Gihr.
That's a vow, and I took it with a vow, so I will have the vow in my sheet next week.
Absolutely. The mechanics can wait. I just want to... What I want to do right now, before anything else, is thank you. That was one of the most intense role-playing sessions I have. Thank you, whoever just did that. Yeah, no doubt. That is one of the most intense role-playing sessions I have ever had the joy and benefit of being part of, and we made it all up on the fly. So thank you to all three of you, Robin, Karis, Austin. Thank you. We got to go through the technical stuff at the end here. We got to dot our I's and cross our T's. First of all, those of you that are watching, if you enjoyed that, give us make that happy noise that we just heard there. Give us a follow. If you really liked it, pop over to YouTube and give us a subscribe and watch the previous episodes there. Oh man, I'm crushed. Real quick, I'm going to go through these. Thank you, Xander, man. What a night for you. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Let's just do these. Karis, you do some stuff as well when you're not doing this. Take a breath and tell us about that while I put your name into chat here so everybody can see the links.
Oi.
Oh, what do? I do Minecraft. I do Dungeons and Dragons. I master Dungeons and Dragons. I play Dungeons and Dragons. I stream stuff. I record stuff. The links are all out there.
And all the links are over there.
Stuff and things.
Stuff and things. I know it's hard to...
Minecraft and Dungeons and Dragons.
Which all just seems kind of distant and vague right now, doesn't it? Compared to what just happened?
It really does.
Oh, Karis, thank you. This is why I wanted you in one of my groups, because I knew this was here, so I love this. Next, let's do this. Robin, you have done a tremendous amount of work on our wiki, and
there will be much more to add after tonight.
There certainly is, and not only have you put a bunch of work into there, you've gotten the message out to people about it too, and I really appreciate that. So why don't you tell us a bit more about the wiki, how you got it organized, and all that good stuff?
So the wiki has information on all the player characters. Some of the PCs have their own pages. All the episodes are linked and have summaries. All the regions have summaries that are from Sean Tompkins' handbook. So a lot of it is either straight from there or adjusted as we have seen fit, as we tend to do.
Yeah.
So that is all on there and all organized there. And the front page has a navigation box that helps get to everything.
It is what wiki pages wish they were. It is unbelievably organized and easy to work your way through. It is just spectacular work. Anybody that wants to pop over there and look at that link's down on the bottom. It's also over. You should also check out, because she's always so humble, she never mentions it. She's the official artist over at our Mercenary of Mischief channel for the Deadlands game that I run. She is also part of an offline game that I run on Wednesday nights that her and Austin are part of. Foolishness. And with that, another big thank you to you. And we will skip down to this dude at the bottom here, who, when I do this, no links show up. But that does not mean that he's not doing lots of stuff. I don't know if you noticed, I made one for you. So tell us what
Hey.
you're doing the other nights of the week.
Well, on Wednesday night, I promise I'm not this much of an asshole to Robin. Her character and my character actually get along really well in that game. But today is one of my favorite days of the week. Today, or Thursdays, sorry, Thursdays. I don't even know what day it is. Thursday, I get up early. I go to school for 10 hours, and then I rush home to play Ironsworn until 10 o'clock at night, my time, and then I go to sleep. And so that's why I don't have any links to anything like that, is because I'm a lunatic and create schedules like that. But I do play lots of Dungeons and Dragons. I play with Robin, and I actually met Kevin in a game where all of us DMs run together and basically try to one-up each other, take turns running the game and learning and teaching each other. And so it was a lot of fun. And it led to this, so holy cap.
Holy cow, indeed. And I guess that just leaves me, and there's me. This is quite a list. I do a lot of stuff, apparently. I have a YouTube channel where most of this stuff goes up, particularly this. It's kind of the focus of what we're doing right now. I also play Guy Bontemps on the Too Many Warlocks over on the Mercs of Mischief channel, which you guys should absolutely positively go to. Sundays, Mondays, and Tuesdays, live role play. Sundays and Mondays, a magnificent dungeon master named Puck, Lord of Chaos, runs a world for two groups at the same time with lots of intergroup interaction, and I don't know how he does it. It's amazing. But you should come and see him do that on Sundays and Mondays. And then Tuesday, I run Deadlands.
They just started their second season.
Yeah, we did. And second season of Deadlands as well. They are now off to Hollywood. So we're going to see how that works out. And then Wednesdays, yeah, I game with two of these three people. And then Thursdays, we get to do this. And Sean, amazing game. Dude,
Yes,
I don't know. Where have you been all my life? This is an amazing system. The openness and the obscurity of it forces you to be creative. And for those of you that don't know, you can play this game solo. So if you like the idea of role playing, but not the idea of hanging around with a lot of people, I get it. You can play this game all by yourself and it works. You don't need a DM, as we proved tonight and every Thursday night. So that's enough talking. I need to recover.
All the assets are free on ironswornrpg.com.
Yes, they
and
are.
It's a really good, if you want to get into role playing, it's a really good segue into it. It's really good to test and exercise your creative muscles. Rolling the dice, paying the price, anything on the Oracle sheet will help you create a story for yourself. So
absolutely.
Have at it.
I'm just lucky enough that I have three very creative friends who come out with me on every Thursday, and we are making a story that, I mean, it's fair to say none of us would have written this story alone. None of us could have written this story alone. That's only the 4th episode. And we've only covered 2.5 days. And we've had 2 forsaken vows, a completed vow, a handful of bonds, and
a bunch of other vows.
And a bunch of other stuff that's happening too.
And a complication or two.
And a complication or 27.
And a couple big bad endgame bosses have been introduced.
And a crow up in a tree.
And and a plot twist with no plot. And with that, I am the luckiest person to stride the role-playing stage. And these are the people that make me that lucky. Thank all of you for coming out and watching. And I will stop blithering now. Thank you, and good night, everybody.